So there's 6 essential funnels to sell any product or service online. Okay. There's 3 components to a high converting journey. There's 3 components. There's the lead generation component, there's the education component, and there's the sales component. Your offer is going to dictate what combination of these things you need. So for example, if you have a higher priced offer, it will require more education. Chances are you will need an education funnel as part of your journey. Education component is optional though. It depends on the price of your offer. So anything that is priced usually $500 or more will require some sort of education component, an education funnel associated to it. If you are selling done-for-you services and they are more than $500, which most done-for-you services are, you do not need an education component. This is a caveat to this rule. And the reason for this, I learned this the hard way, by the way, when I was running my agency and we were growing, we were struggling to acquire customers. We built webinars and we built mini classes and we created all sorts of education and nobody was buying from us. And it turns out that people who want a done-for-you service really don't want to learn anything. The whole reason they're hiring you is because they aren't looking to learn. They're looking for you to do it for them. So you can skip the whole education side if you are selling some sort of done-for-you service. Now, if there has to be some education around the offer, meaning it's kind of new, people don't really know what it is, you will have to have that education component, right? So when we sell Funnelytics, for example, thinking about customer journeys, etc., does require a lot of education because otherwise people are a little uncertain as to what it means, okay? Now, leads and sales are always required. You need to capture leads and you need to capture your sales. That's how you make money, right? So what are the 6 essential funnels? Well, basically you could take lead generation, you could take education, and you could take sales, and you could break it down into 2 types of funnels for each. Now, there's always going to be variations of this, but these are the essential core funnels. When all said and done, you can just literally take one of these 6 and it will form basically any business that you look online. If you go and look at your competitors, they're doing one of these 6 things, okay? Or a combination of these 6 things. So let's talk about first and foremost, the lead magnet funnel. So the lead magnet funnel is when you give away something for free in exchange for a name and an email, i.e., it's a lead magnet. I'm trying to give you this checklist or this PDF or this free case study or whatever it may be, this white paper in exchange for your name and email. It's really super easy to build. There's no complexity. The best use of it is to turn a cold person who's never heard of you into a lead so that you can follow up with them and you can actually start nurturing that relationship. So typically, you'll have an opt-in, you'll have a thank you page, you'll have an email that says, hey, here's the thing that you asked for, and sends them to some sort of download page. And then you'll have a series of emails to indoctrinate them into your brand, into your business. Okay, very simple, very basic. Most people understand and know the lead magnet funnel. Next funnel is your survey funnel. This is also a lead generation funnel. It is also meant to be free. The whole purpose of a lead generation or a survey funnel is to start segmenting your audience. So when you know that your business requires a little bit of segmentation, this is where you would use something like a survey funnel. So for example, I used to run a company called iifym.com, which is basically a nutrition and diet site. I used to be CMO of that company. And when we grew that company, one of the things that we did in order to really grow it was use a survey and in the form of a calculator. Why? Because we needed to segment out and separate women versus men, people who wanted to gain weight and gain muscle mass versus people who wanted to lose weight, right? And we really need to understand who they were and then give them an offer that matched their requirements. And that is the whole purpose of a survey funnel. You get somebody in the door, based on their answers, they're going to go to various thank you pages, and they're going to get an email that corresponds to those things. Okay? So those are the two key and core lead generation funnels. You don't need to deviate from that. If you want to generate leads, do one of those two things. It's really that simple. If you start deviating from it, you're adding complexity to your business. Okay. Next, now it's time to nurture people. It's time to educate them. Again, this is optional and it depends on the price point and depends on what you're selling. However, there are two core education funnels that you should know and master. Number one is the webinar funnel. So the webinar funnel is there when you're trying to sell something from like $500 to $3,000. It's a little complicated to build. There's tons of software, tons of tools to use, but the whole purpose of a webinar is to pre-sell people, right? It's to basically get them to know, like, and trust you in a short amount of time. That is the whole purpose of hosting a webinar. Basically, if somebody requires multiple touch points before they buy from you because you're charging a lot of money, basically a webinar funnel condenses all of that. It gets them to know, like, and trust you in a very short amount of time. So there's an opt-in, there's a thank you page, then they're going to receive a bunch of emails to get them to the live webinar, and they're going to receive a bunch of emails to send them to the replay if they didn't take action on that live webinar. Okay. The second type of education funnel is the mini class funnel. So the mini class funnel is basically taking a 1-hour webinar and breaking it up into 3 main videos. That's really all it is. It's basically taking a 1-hour core training and breaking it up into a sequence of videos. And both work extremely well. There's no right or wrong answer, but basically you're taking that 1 hour of education and training, or 45 minutes, whatever it may be, and you're just breaking it up into a little bit more digestible content. So people opt in for a mini class, they get to a thank you page, they start receiving video 1, video 2, video 3, and a couple emails along the way. Okay, same thing. Price point is to sell something from $500 to $3,000. Now, we've generated leads, we've educated those leads. Now we've got to actually sell those leads. And there's 2 ways to sell people. You either sell them right then and there on a website through an order form, or you sell them over the phone. Those are basically the only 2 ways that you can sell people. I guess you could also fly over to their office and get them to sign a piece of paper. But nowadays, those are your 2 options. You're either going to sell them right then and there on a website through an order form, or you're going to have a conversation with them. You're going to speak to them. Your sales team is going to take on those calls, and you're going to close them via a conversation. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, which is your product sales funnel. This is if you're selling something online, right? So anything that is below $3,000, you can sell directly online without speaking to somebody. Once you get past that kind of $3,000 price point, that's when people will typically want to speak to someone before they pull the trigger. It's really, really difficult to get somebody to pull the trigger on a $3,000 plus price point if they don't know you, like you, trust you, have a previous relationship with you. So something to keep in mind. So how does it look? What does it do? You've got a core sales page that sells the offer, that summarizes what it is that they're getting. There's an order form, and then you'll typically stack some upsells and downsells to maximize the order value. And eventually they get to an order confirmation page, right? Very simple. The number of upsells and downsells is totally up to you. But the more you add, the more you end up making money. Second type of funnel in terms of a sales funnel is what we call the application funnel. The whole purpose of the application funnel is to move people into your sales pipeline. So this is really when you're selling something from $2,000 and upwards, right? I put $50,000, but really it's flexible. You can sell $100,000. You can, whatever your price point is for your offers and your services or your products. But the goal with this is to push people to an actual call, move them into your sales pipeline. So similar to a sales funnel, a product sales funnel, you'll have an offer page. That page is basically your sales page describing what are they scheduling a call for. Then they're going to go and fill out a form. They're going to go and schedule a call, probably get a couple reminders in order if they don't schedule their call. And then once their call is scheduled, they're going to receive an email saying their call is confirmed, and it moves over to your sales pipeline, your sales team. Best use case is, again, to sell over the phone. So if I take this, I can now basically break this down into these various categories. So I've got my lead generation, my education, and my sales, and I've got the 2 different funnels across each of them. And now it's just a game of mix and match. So basically, based on your price point, based on the offer and the goal that you're trying to achieve, you just start stacking these funnels. So for example, let's say I am trying to sell to an existing list, meaning I don't need to collect leads because I already have leads and they're already coming in. And I want to sell a mid-ticket price point on the phone, which was going to require some long education. So let's say some coaching. I want to sell a $10,000 coaching program to my existing list. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my webinar funnel, because I need to educate them because it's a high ticket price point and it requires the education. I'm going to send people to a webinar opt-in. They're going to go on the webinar. And then basically what's going to happen is on the call to action of the webinar, I'm going to go and tell them to go apply for my program. And then they're going to go to the offer page. They're going to fill out the application, schedule a call, and there you go. This is the entire journey for me to grow this coaching business. Here's another example. Let's say I want to sell online software and I want to do it to a cold audience. And really, I'm giving them a free trial. So that means that there's really not much for them to consider or for them to, worry about. It's not overly expensive, but I'm going to a cold audience. Well, the first thing that I'm going to want to do is capture the lead, right? If I'm going to a cold audience, I want to change the relationship and capture a lead. So I'm going to go and use some sort of lead magnet. Maybe it's an ebook. Maybe it's a checklist that corresponds with my offer. Then once I send people to the opt-in, they get the thank you, they get a delivery email that sends them to the download page. Then they're going to receive the indoctrination sequence that's going to teach them about our software and is going to teach them about what they can do with our software. And as long as it's congruent with this lead magnet, they're going to go to a sales page. They're going to put in their credit card for a free trial. Maybe we stack a couple upsells and downsells, and there you go. This is the journey that I'm taking people through in order to convert them from a stranger into a customer for my software. And that's all this game is. You don't need anything more than these 6 funnels to build any product or to sell any product or service.